had the honor to be present in Madrid when there was the convention taking place. It was an amazing event, I have to say, because there was a really lively democratic competition going on the Madrid Partido Popular convention this year, in the summer this year. And I must tell you that I saw in Pablo's speech a really great leader, an inspiring speech. I told him already that I also took some notes about what he told to the delegates for myself, for my future, let me say, speeches I will do. And it's great. Again, I want to underline this, that you do your first presentation about the Spanish situation, but also your European ideas here in your family, in the EPP group, to share the ideas with your friends. That's great, and I thank you really for this. I also want to underline again for us, because having 2019 in mind, the election campaign in 2019 in mind, dear friends, we have always to remind ourselves about our EPP heritage. Because 2014, the main debate was about economy. It was about euro, it was about the program countries, it was about rescuing our currency. And dear friends, we did it. We as EPP, we did it. And Mariano Rajoy did it in Spain. And I think we should be proud about what we achieved in the last years. Because the message we did it will give us for the next campaign the base for the most important thing what politicians can have, and that is trust, credibility. That we showed already that we are not liars like Tsipras and others are. We say the truth and we do it afterwards. We implement it and we give people a good success story for the future. I think that is important, and this is also part of Partido Popular, where you know, Pablo, that we really are proud of this. That's why we are also considering that for the party congress, when we have our study days there in the party congress in Helsinki, probably we can invite Mariano Rajoy, we can invite Enda Kenny, we can invite our leaders who did it in the last years very successfully. Today, again, it's an honor that you are here. Spanish situation, I think, is in the interest of a lot of friends. The Catalan situation, because that is one of the issues which we have on the table. And I also want to clarify from an EPP group's point of view that we fully support our Spanish friends, that there cannot be, in a time where we have so much challenges ahead of us, there cannot be an additional question of splitting up a country in the European Union. We need stability. That is what we need in Europe, and you can count on us. So that is the framework we have in front of us. I want to thank you also for the great team we have from Partido Popular in our EPP group, a strong delegation inside of our EPP group. A lot of colleagues are present under the leadership of Esteban. He is also, as vice president, a decisive key player in our group, and also a good, let me say, party dealer when it is about the Heurigen and about all the parties which we have in our bureau meetings. So thank you, Esteban, and thanks the whole delegation for their strong contribution. So again, welcome, Pablo. We are very interested in what you will tell us. You have now the floor.
Thank you so much, Manfred, and thank you all the MPs represented here in this bureau meeting. And my first time out of Spain after our Congress, and all of you were really well represented by Manfred. And I think we are going to keep on the good track our predecessor, Mariano Rajoy, did. And also, we will keep being a really trustworthy partner for this group. Let me thank also Esteban as the chief of the delegation, Jose Ramon as the international secretary, Tono, the general secretary of the EPP, and of course all the Spanish MPs here represented. Let me tell you that we are the key party of the European Union, which is something that you know really well. And we are the driving force of the Europe, and we must act as such, together and strong. We face immense challenges, and the decisions we make in the coming years, or even in the coming months, will determine not only our immediate future, but that of the generations to come. In today's world, the traditional configuration of the nation state has shown incapacity to tackle many of the problems that our societies face today. The Union is today more important than ever. It is a time for convulsion, let's face it, and therefore a time for reflection, and most importantly, for action. Our citizens demand answers, and we need to give answers to them quickly. A time of challenges is also a time of opportunities. We are a party with an enormous heritage and a party with solid moral values and strong political convictions. We do not take lessons from others. Today, being in Austria, I would like to mention and remember the works and legacy of the Austrian School of Economics, because our party is honored for the contribution of the cause of freedom. We have nothing to envy from other parties. Rather than the contrary, we are the party that honors and defends the ideas of giants of the European history as Schuman, Monnet, Adenauer, de Gasperi, Churchill, Wałęsa, or Havel. What is more, we have now leaders that faced and defeated the tyranny of the Soviet Union and communists. For example, our colleague, Alois Peterle, knows pretty well. We are the party that supports strongly those who resist against the dictatorships in Cuba, in Venezuela, and now in Nicaragua, and other places which others look the other way. We are the party that resists and fights strongly to defend democracy against terrorism, and we have lost many colleagues who gave their lives doing so. We sadly know that very well in Spain. We are the party of freedom, the party that better defends the open society against its enemy, in Popper's words. We must look proud to our past and be pursuing our ideas. We must not follow or pretend to imitate the wrong ideas of the left and the others. We must defeat them in all the fields without any complex, and we must face our next Congress and the European campaign with the certainty that our ideas and values are better and are the right ones to deliver citizens prosperity, security, and wellness. Only if we are able to do so, we will win. Dear colleagues, we're still having enormous challenges ahead, and many things where we need to make deep reforms. Hayek said that if we want to win the battle of ideas of our time, we must know exactly what is our creed. And I agree. We need to identify our key priorities, which must be the priorities of citizens, and then act with leadership and with strength. But I don't want to sound negative. Our policies and the reforms launched by the European EPP group in our countries, and of course in the European institutions, have saved Europe and the Eurozone from the disaster in the last economic crisis. We lead the current debate in the European Union on employment, digital single market, security, defense, economy, policy of innovation, research, to keep Europe in the right track. But there we need to do more in several fields, and let me address just a couple of them. For instance, we must defeat populism and nationalism also in the European field. The European Union is the community of law, par excellence in the modern era. The contribution of the rule of law is the pillar of the treaties and also of all the constitutions of the member states. If we go beyond the point of not respecting law in the European Union, then we will lose our backbone and we will slip down to our disappearance. From the Spanish perspective, shall I inform you that the Catalan independentists and populists are questioning the Spanish democracy. so also the European democracy. Spain is a mature democracy, and as such, and as many other states, members of the Union, cannot allow that a majority put at stake our values and systematically erases the rights of the Spanish citizens who do not share the independentist thesis. What is at stake in Catalonia is also a European shared values, and it is not simply a Spanish question. If radicalism and populism win in one of the member states, then the disease will spread out immediately all over the Union. That is why we are so grateful to Manfred Weber for the strong support, the clear position, and the lead of the European group of the EPP to support with strength and with clarity our position. We are witnessing today in Catalonia a revival of the worst EU history. Intimidation, social exclusion, fear, indoctrination, and incitation to hatred by even public authorities. We have even had physical aggressions in the streets last week, and the conflict is escalating. That is why I would like to debate about the effectivity of the Euro order. Schengen is based in our mutual trust and member states and judiciary instance of those member states, so they cannot question the legitimacy of other states' courts when it comes to enforce judiciary resolution, as it has happened in the last months. Because if situations like this happen, we lose credibility to our citizens, but also the European Union will lose their credibility. It is difficult to go and defend in campaign for the European Union project if these values against those we want to destroy are not recognized. So many Spaniards would not understand if the author of the biggest attack to the Spanish democracy after the coup d'etat of 1981 now is walking free around different countries in the Union, and a Euro order issued by the Supreme Court of Spain is not being enforced. Another policy that needs to be reshaped is immigration. These summer events in Spain and in other European countries show that we have to reform something that is not working well. We need a strong joint policy on this. We need to have determination, because this is not a problem only for Spain or for the southern countries, but for all the European countries. The Western Mediterranean route to Spain became the leading migration route in this year. We multiply by 3 the arrival of immigrants to Spain. Just up to July, 24,000 people. For example, in Italy, they arrive in 80,000 numbers, and in Greece, 50,000. Each of these figures are men, women, and children. So we have to have a common policy to face this humanitarian crisis. And we need to set measures to prevent this in the countries of origin. Member states with frontiers suffering this problem need support from other member states. We need to do more. We need more resources for police forces in the frontiers, more effectiveness also to control it. And we need a new policy on legal migration based on quotas that is sustainable. We must not follow the demagogical arguments in this topic. We do have limited resources and cannot welcome millions and provide unlimited social services for all. Our welfare state, our public services and social security would collapse. The sustainability of this welfare state relies on how we tackle this problem. We cannot lie to citizens as others do. And we must fight strongly against mafias living out of human suffering. And we need maybe to perform a kind of Marshall Plan so that all the countries of the European Union can collaborate with this country to avoid those people trying to pursue a better future in the European countries. The third issue I want to raise is about the revolution, the new digital revolution. I think things are changing really fast, and this is another key challenge. I'm not going to make another speech on something that you know much better than me. But I think that the European Union has to lead this wave. We all know that the new economic models never seen before have almost literally swept the traditional ones. And we are creating many positive things, but also unprecedented disruption to the traditional economy. We must continue leading these debates. A party called to govern in our time must lead this revolution. The new business models are based on the fundamental freedom of individuals to interact online and the safeguarding of the model of free economy against the interventionism model that we are hearing from the other side of the Atlantic is our dispute. Dear colleagues, I think we have to reinforce the policy of innovation, creativity, entrepreneurs, SME, and startups. And this is our challenge. And I think if the unemployment and the competitivity of the Eurozone depends on any new pillar, is on this one. Just to end and to accomplish with this 10 minutes time and knowing that we have a debate, I will make mine the Adenauer words when he said that the European unity started as a dream of few, became the hope of many, and now is a need for all of us. So I'm really happy of our perspective for the next elections. I think we will be not only the biggest group in the European Parliament, but also the biggest moral force to keep doing what the European citizens need to accomplish with the politicians who represent them. And from the Spanish perspective, I can say that even that our party is not now in office, we are still the main parliamentary party. We have 50 seats more than the Socialist Party. This is the first time it happens in the Spanish history. We have the absolute majority in Senate, and we have, of course, the wider European group. So we will be back in office really soon. Thank you so much.
Pablo, thanks so much for this first intervention, and now we direct